So today marks the 627th day that I am sober. I haven't smoked weed. And if I could compare my life now with back then, it would be night and day difference.
For some reason, I think you're opslagen chip.
So I'm just gonna jump straight into it, how it all started, how it all escalated, how it all got out of hand, and how it all ended. So growing up, all my friends used to smoke weed. I live in Belgium, in Antwerp, and weed and hash has been all normalized. Everyone smokes it, it's normal. But growing up, I used to occupy myself with sports. I was a boxer, and I knew that smoking in general was bad for your health and stamina, so I kept away from it. Now, my friends did smoke weed, and sometimes they would try to peer pressure me into it, but I could resist. And over here, like maybe somewhere else, you would be considered a junkie if you'd smoke weed, but over here it's normal. I mean, I live in Antwerp, the cocaine capital of Europe, so there's also weed and hash and all kinds of other drugs, but we're not gonna get into that. Growing up, I always used to say no to weed. I used to call people junkies. I would say no, this and that, I don't want to do it, and I never did. I was 18 years old and it was Corona, lockdown, and there was a guy who I had fought with when I was younger, but then we made up because it was taking way too long and it was beef for nothing. And then one day I ran into him and I was like, okay, listen, you have been evading me. This whole shit is taking too long. Fuck it, let's squash it. He was like, okay. And he was also a very good guy because some people I knew used to hang around with him, and they were right. He was a good guy, and he still is a good guy. I still know him. I went home and I used to take medication. I'm not gonna say for what, but I used to take medication, and once a week I had to take that certain type of medication, and a lot of side effects came with it. So I'd have headaches, muscle pain, severe bipolarness, mood switches, angry. I would become very angry. I would be freezing. Every Wednesday was a bad day for me, and the side effects would appear like 6 hours after I would take the medicine. So what I would usually do was lock myself into a room and just thug it out. But then after a while you get tired of taking fucking painkillers, feeling bad and all these things. So I was searching for alternatives. I tried sleeping, but I woke up from the pain, so that wasn't a solution. And then I read something about CBD can cure this, THC this, da 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 da, and I was like, fuck it, why not? So that guy I made up with, I knew he sold drugs, and selling drugs here is also very normal. Every second person does it. And then I called him, I was like, and he just left. So an hour later I called him, I was like, brother, listen, I know you sell drugs. And he was like, yeah, I do. I was like, listen, I never smoked weed before, and I was wondering, could you roll up like 2 joints? I'll pay you for it. I just want to try it out. And it was like, hold on, you have never smoked weed before? I was like, yeah, no, I never smoked weed before. And he was like, bro, listen. He was like, it was something very big for him. He was like, thank you for giving me this honor, but don't worry about it. I got you. Meet me in this place and find the spot. And this, where I am right now, was the spot where I smoked my very first joint. And he was like, I got you food, drinks, I got everything. I'm gonna be your trip sitter. I was like, okay, fuck it. So we were sitting here, and I remember as yesterday, he was sitting here, I was sitting here, and I was looking towards there the whole time because I was nervous. I never did that shit before. And he was rolling up and my heart was pounding, and he noticed that I was afraid. And he was like, bro, if you don't want to, then you don't have to. I'm not forcing you. I'm like, bro, I want to try it myself. Why? Because the side effects were kicking in and I was starting to feel the pain. I was like, fuck it, let me try. So he passed me the joint. I took my first pull. I didn't inhale because I didn't knew how to inhale. And he was like, no, bro, you gotta do it like this. And he taught me. And then, yeah, I was high. And I felt good, and I was laughing and this and that, not knowing that this was the start of a disaster. So then we were walking in this alley, I'll show you guys, and we were laughing the whole time. And this whole walk is maybe 20-30 seconds, but we did like a minute over it, because every time we would look to the left, we would like spawn back, and then I blacked out and this and that. But overall, I didn't feel any pain. So now, because I liked it, it was like, okay, every Wednesday, whenever the pain starts kicking in, I'll just smoke a joint. It'll be a once a week thing, or that's what I thought at least. Now, keep in mind that I told you that a lot of friends of mine smoked weed, but I tried to keep it on the low. I didn't want no one to know about it. So what ended up happening, so one friend knows about it, so I smoked a joint with him in the weekend, and then it turned from once a week to once a week, and also in the weekends. Then another friend knew about it. Okay, just for the exception, we'll do Mondays too. And then this day, that day, and slowly but surely the snowball kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And before I knew it, because also COVID had kicked in, so I didn't have anything else to do, I did train in my garage and worked. I became addicted. That's what you can call it. If you smoke weed every day, you're addicted. So then I used to smoke weed every day, sneak out at night because my parents didn't know, my brother didn't know, and I tried to keep it on low. Only friends knew, a few, and then more people knew. Then I didn't even care who knew. Then I started smoking weed here, there, with those people, these people. From my 18 till 21 or 22, 3 or 4 years, I used to smoke weed like crazy. If I could compare now with then, back then I used to lie to myself a lot because I said, yeah, I'm gonna quit. I didn't. Motivation, discipline, self-respect. Every time I lied to myself, my self-worth kept like decreasing. It kept getting worse and worse. Now I was not fiending to smoke weed, but it was like, yeah, it was like I smoked every day. It was like, okay, right before I go to sleep, right before I eat, right before we go and watch the UFC, right before we go and watch soccer. And then especially when you have friends that also smoke, you start smoking more. So my tolerance was over here. And then sometimes I would get caught by people that I didn't want to disappoint, like older guys, and they were like, bro, now you smoke weed, what happened? I thought you were a boxer. And then I would be disappointed in myself, so I would quit for like 1 month, and then we're back at it again. Parents caught me. I quit for 3 months, then I was back at it again. Then I started to get disgusted of myself. I quit for like a few months, then I was back at it again. So even though it kept going for 4 years, I took breaks in the meanwhile. And then in the end, I remember the last 5 times that I smoked weed, I started having panic attacks. So my heart would start to race. I would feel anxious. I would start feeling bad. I remember one time I even fainted in the night shop, and I was like, okay, maybe this is a sign that my body doesn't accept it anymore. And to be frankly honest, I was tired of it because it kept holding me back. Because I was like, okay, today I have this to do, but let me first smoke a joint and then I'll get to it. But then when I used to smoke a joint, I'll go and lay in my bed, jack off, and that was it. That was my day. I didn't do anything. People say, oh, but weed is soft drugs. Yeah, it's soft drugs, but it's actually hard drugs. Why? Because it kills your ambition. It kills your drive, your discipline, your motivation, your self-belief. So in my eyes, weed, one of the worst drugs ever. And then in the end, like I said, I started having panic attacks, and it was getting very bad. And I was like, okay, that's it. I'm done. I wanted to quit anyways, so this was a reason for me to quit. And I didn't quit like, okay, now I'm gonna try 1 joint every 2 days, then build off, you know, go lower and lower and lower. No, it was cold turkey. One day and the other, I was done. And now we're 627 days further, and I can tell you that was the best decision I ever made in my life. Why? Because now, whenever I say something, I do it. I have the discipline to do things every day. I have energy for days. Sometimes I feel down, but compared to back then, I have energy for days. My ambition is higher, my drive is higher, my health is way better. There are a lot of benefits now compared to back then. And if I could give anyone a message that wants to quit but thinks it's very hard, don't depend on a plant. Do you see how crazy that sounds? You're depending on something that grows over here. So this thing right here has you in its grip. And how can you allow that as a man? You're killing yourself slowly. All those days that go by that you tell yourself, okay, but I'm gonna do it in an hour. You smoke weed, then you go lay on your bed. I've been there, brother. I've been there, and I know you feel bad. And I know you feel bad. Believe me, I've been there. The only thing you have to do is put that joint down and never touch it again. It's gonna be hard. And with hard, I mean the first 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks were hard, and after that, I didn't even notice. It was like I never smoked weed before. They say a lot of side effects come from smoking weed, like cognitive issues, maybe even memory loss, lower IQ, slow responses, slower reflexes. I've had all those things. I'd say just quit, bro. quit, because a plant is standing between you and your dreams, because you don't realize how much that plant is affecting your life until you quit. And then you'll realize, oh my god, I wasted so much time. Me, I feel so bad that I wasted 4 years on that stupid plant. Why? Because I know I would be much more ahead in life if I didn't smoke that shit. But I'm grateful that I found the strength and willpower, put it down and never touch it again. So yeah guys, that was my story. I'm gonna leave it at that. If you see this and made it all the way through the end, don't do drugs, follow your dreams, and keep on hustling, brother. I'll see you next time. Peace.